two of us. Measuring the items are going to be an interesting affair.
The items?
Yeah. Yeah, because one of the things we have to include now are events. And the example he gives is like item bomb, weight 95. First action is examine, second action is kick. And if you kick, it actually hurts you.
Hurts you. Oh. Weird.
So we're going to have to really look at that.
Score and health seem kind of self-explanatory. Player self must be persistent and hydrated in the save file, of course. Cannon skitters down the hallway. Oh, you have to list. Oh, if a Dr. Pepper gets drunk, then it transforms into an empty can, and we have to still list an empty can as another item. Booyah helps save the environment.
That actually wasn't what I was laughing at. I just got down to the end of the page, and when he's talking about making the UML for this, he says Argo UML is a option. So I went to look at Argo UML.
Oh, well, never mind.
So I'm going to send him a quick little email about that.
We're probably just going to have to use Draw.io.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm back on my desktop computer now as well, so.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I can use Draw.io, Photoshop, PowerPoint, whatever.
Oh, I just erased the assignment instead of the tab of the site. Whoops. Wrong tab. Refill. Win. Excuse me. What's win do? Why does drinking a soda hurt you?
It's Dr. Pepper.
Oh, I guess, fair enough. Eating a donut hurts you too, man. Score. Well, you'll just win from refilling the fucking travel mode.
Win for what? What'd you say?
In his example, if you refill the travel mug, you win.
Missed that one.
Just win the game. The second to last item in his list. I just find that weird.
He's evidently a coffee person.
example features are just option. Okay, they're all optional. Third. Third is Friday.
Yep.
All right. July 2nd is my little brother's birthday, so I'll be visiting him, but I'll still be on my phone if, like, I'm sure
All
I
right.
can.
That means we're gonna be working extra hard until then.
Yeah. So for the UML diagram, key with classes, methods, attributes. Oh, we just need to show in this phase. Okay. Those sequence diagrams. You can. This other site is cool. This websequencediagrams.com.
Mm-hmm.
The other website for UML diagrams he recommended. It's really cool. You code in instead of actually clicking on. Well, you can do both. You can code in the things you need. Like if you needed. This would take some figuring out, I guess. But it seems cool. All right. The first deadline doesn't seem too crazy.
I don't know. The deadlines have seemed crazy until we wasted 2 days to get started.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
But anyway, where the fuck did it go? I lost the damn assignment.
It doesn't make a new window when you click things. Like maybe I lost my assignment a couple of times.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so one thing that I'm unclear on, where was it? It says, so for like health and score, it's our choice how we persist and hydrate the materials. But if all the engines are supposed to implement this, don't they need to be implemented in a uniform way?
I guess in the save file, yeah, it would have to be in the same way. If you can load anyone's dungeon, yeah, I figure they would have to be.
Okay, so I will ask Stephen about that.
In some way, your choice. It doesn't make sense, your choice.
Yeah, I'm like, well, if it's our choice, then that means we can implement it in a way that others can't.
Yeah.
But I think I'm just frustrated losing a day.
Well, maybe we don't have to load other people's in progress dungeons, and that would make sense. But I don't know. It's probably a good question for Stephen, regardless. What else? Oh, so it disappeared. It even gets removed from the dungeon.
What does?
Any item that gets hit with the disappear effect is just completely gone. You can never get it back, apparently. Yeah, that would make sense. If you break something or... Yeah. Um... Oh. Drinking a can doesn't hurt you. It wounds you by -1, which heals you by 1, apparently.
Oh, okay, I overlooked that.
Yeah, the wound command is weird. The game is over. Player loses.
Ah,
The new item will not have existed previously. Huh. Someone's doing something loud outside. I don't know if you can hear that, but there's like hammering, I think.
no, I don't hear anything.
Item disappeared. Replaced by another item. So items that transform into others, like the Dr. Pepper transforms into the empty can after you drink it.
Mm.
The empty can, I guess, has to be in the items hash table of the dungeon, but it wouldn't be in the actual rooms. Yeah, that would make sense. It's not in the rooms item inventory, but it is in the dungeons. And it just, when you transform an item, I guess you'll have to get rid of the original and then switch it out for the new one. At least Sword Plus Plus is the final.
Don't start talking like that.
Oh, sorry, I'm just. It's been overwhelming.
I know, but there's a very, very slippery slope leading into that trap. And as I said last week, I'm going to be pushing hard to keep us on track. And I'm not exactly thrilled that we've already lost 2 days. So forgive me if I'm a bit snippy about it.
No, I get you.
So, okay. So do you have any questions or any points of confusion on what you've read?
I mean, health and score saving would that would we should ask Steven about that. But
Yeah.
besides,
Well, I've already got a note written in the email that says, where'd I put it? In the assignment write-up, you said 1, player health, of course, must be persistent, hydrated in the save file in some way, your choice, and player score must be persistent, hydrated in the save file in some way, your choice. If all the Zork engines need to implement this, doesn't that mean they need to be implemented in a particular way, i.e. not our choice, but a common process? Or am I reading too far into this? Like if we choose to implement score as the last thing in the .save file, and we implement it by making it square bracket player hyphen score square bracket colon open parenthesis 200 close parenthesis, then no one else's engine can run it unless they specifically implement the same system. But under overview, you say the standard features will be described in detail below. Your game engine must work exactly as described with the .zork files in exactly the format given. This is so every team's engine works in part in the same way, and I can therefore reliably and efficiently test everyone's functionality. And then, where'd they go? Yeah, the score and health are listed under standard features.
oh, we also have to notify him that we're not we don't want to keep anything in our repo.
Right, but we can't do that until we talk to Dre.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, we just got to remember to send that note once we talk.
Yeah. Well, that's why I was doing it in the Discord channel. That way it's in text. It's not time critical.
Right.
Now, as soon as he sees it, he can respond. If he doesn't see it by like class, we go, Dre, answer the question, please.
Mm-hmm. I just wondered, like, how can your sleep schedule get that like?
Oh, it can get really fucked up. When I was working freelance television, there were times that I'd sleep 2 hours a night, 2 hours during the day, and then 2 hours in the afternoon.
Jeez.
I have one friend that has a sleeping disorder. He never sleeps more than 45 minutes at a given time.
Wow.
Anyway, back on topic.
Yeah.
So, okay. So we need to implement score and health. As far as score goes, I feel like the best way to do that is have a score attribute for any actually, that's a good question. How do we want to calculate score?
I think we could keep it in the game state class because it's
Well, that's where we would keep it, yeah. But how do we want to calculate it? Like,
honestly,
like, is there a point value for walking through an exit? Is there a point value for picking up something? Is there a point value for dropping something? Is it a consistent point value?
yeah, it in his example at least, for some of the commands, it'll if you put in score, it'll increase your score by that amount in the parentheses. Like waving the magic wand ups your score by 5 and teleports you out of the room.
Okay, but same point. So that particular action on that particular item gives you a +5 to your score.
Yeah.
Okay. Does picking up the magic wand do that?
It doesn't look like it does. At least
okay.
We could make it do that.
Well, we can, but again, that's what I'm asking. How do we want to calculate it?
Oh,
Is it plus 1 point for every turn, plus 1 point for every room you've been in, or just plus 1 point for every new room you find?
hmm.
Like if I have room 1, I go to room 2. Okay, so I found a new room, plus 1 point. If I go back to room 1, do I now get another point? Or because I've been to room 1 before, I don't get another point.
I figure you wouldn't if you've already been there. We
Okay,
use the visited Boolean to check that too.
yeah. But
Um,
there is also the idea of saying, a traveler travels. So the further you travel, i.e., the more rooms you go into, not the more rooms you discover, would give you a higher score. It's a bit of a gamey system, but I can see the argument being made.
hmm. I think that's just a preference thing.
It
Um,
is, but that's why I'm asking.
oh, I mean, if it were up to me, I would for every new room maybe up a score by one, and
Yep.
of course some uh, using some certain uh, commands on items would get you score. Um, and I think just storing it as an integer in game state would work. And
Okay. Can you type that up as a note real quick?
sure.
Either post it in Discord or send me a file. Sorry, I'm trying to get my 250 steps in.
You're good. So I'll just write it.
Plus, I also checked my weight today. I'm down another 4 pounds.
Nice. There.
Okay. Every time a player walks into a room. All right, expanding on that idea.
Quiz.
Yeah, I expanded on your note a little bit.
All right. Could have a point that would be the item class, but that point. Okay.
Okay. Ooh, Jonathan Young has a new cover up. We'll check that out later. Okay, back to topic at hand. So I talked about score. So health, probably just an attribute in the game state, like score.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And as far as supplemental features, do we want to include something like combat?
Hmm. I think we could if we have the a combat system might be more complicated than some of the other optional features.
It would be, which is why I'm asking.
Yeah.
Because the other thing is, the only other thing that would affect health would be combat.
Yeah. I think it'd be really cool if we did, but I mean, of course, if we're, hopefully we won't be, but if we're crunched for time near the end, the combat system might be a little pushy, pushing it.
Okay, so for right now, let's say not do the combat system then.
Okay, if we have the time later, though, I think it'd be a cool idea.
Yeah. So, but I do like the idea of NPCs, lockable exits.
Yeah.
And we can certainly talk about crafting. To include a group. Yeah, crew's a man bat thing.
Balance.
Okay, so barring any contradictory or problematic input from Dre, we are looking at doing the score system. Well, these are standard, so we have to do those. So score and health. Get your note on there.
Ooh. Sure.
Okay, and then health. So 5 items. Okay. So we're doing those standards. And so NPCs. What were the other ones we were talking about? Crafting?
We had discussed crafting, but I mean, it also seems interesting. NPCs, we were iffy about combat.
Yeah.
Lockable exits, closable exits.
Yeah. I actually like the idea of closable exits. There's a thought. Hidden exits?
Hidden exits, possibly. Yeah.
Yeah, like you have to search for an exit. I think we're going to talk about that one. Just running through my mind, I'm already seeing it kind of expand very quickly. Lockable exits, I think, is a good option.
Verbose mode. Toggles shows whether or not we want to show what exits the player can take in the description. He says a real adventure program would make the user infer what exits exist from the room description. A real adventure program.
Yeah. I mean, verbose mode would be pretty easy. We just have a attribute in the game state, verbose, Boolean, true, false. And then in the, get title? Or get, or describe method. I can't remember what the name of the method is right now.
Mm-hmm.
We just have a if-else statement that checks the value in the game state.
Okay. That could work.
So I also do want to bring up the idea of doing a dungeon maker again. The only the holdback I'm thinking about is if we decide to do a dungeon maker, I think that's going to be a sizable chunk of the project.
Yeah. We would probably spend as much time on the dungeon maker as we would implementing the actual Zork++. The actual,
possibly,
because we'd have to make it a whole system that prints out. Like, would you like to add rooms? Yes, no, and then what exits for each room?
right?
Input.
I mean, we could build it into the system itself.
Yeah, I'm sure we can do this. It also seems like a lot.
It would be. I'm not entirely sure it would meet the requirements of the assignment anyway.
Yeah, I think possibly after this assignment, for fun, we could do one.
Possibly.
Because it seems like he cares a lot about the getting the few. I can't speak English this morning. Like the commands that he listed, like from score to teleport, have to be in there, and any other supplemental features adding to the to our game.
Yeah.
The dungeon maker is like it is a cool idea, but I don't know if he'll.
Yeah. Well, let me include that in the email. Even if he says yes, and then we talk to Dre and we decide, okay, this is a bit more than what we can take on for this project, we can just not do it and do the other stuff.
Should we? How do you feel about needing a light source for some rooms?
I mean, like having a torch or something?
Yeah, like would you need a torch or a lantern to go through like the uh, the basement or something?
I like the idea. We would need to do some talking about to come to an agreement on how it is going to work, and then in turn, making it work.
Yeah, yeah. I guess if the player doesn't have a lit a light source in their inventory, then the room would have to print out a different description and not have any exits. Or maybe it could have exits and it just doesn't tell them.
Yeah.
Board has been called.
What's up?
That's all right for my other class. The code that she provided us results in an error. I'm like, really?
So light source. So NPCs, crafting, closable exits, maybe hidden exits, lockable exits, and light sources. I mean, do we also want to do, non-logical exit arrangement?
Wait, repeat that. Non-logical.
Exit placement. Like you remember in the original Zork, the maze, like you
Yeah.
had one-way exits.
Oh, I hated that maze.
Yeah, so did I.
But yeah, I do remember.
Do we want to do something like that?
Potentially be a good idea. Description. Okay, we don't need to make. All right, we don't need to make a complete set of class diagrams for every class, just for the new stuff.
Yeah, but don't be surprised if I push us to. I'm not saying I'm planning to. I'm just saying, that may be needed.
Yeah. Several sequence diagrams. Showing results of the player typing score and health. Showing an item specific command, triggering transform, triggering teleport.
I'll be right back. I gotta grab something.
All right. I'm gonna check the mail too. I'll be right back to it. Do you watch Smallville? Do you watch Smallville? No, you gotta watch it. That's how you get coronavirus, son. What if someone coughed in other things?
Okay, I'm back. Oh.
What is it?
What are you trying to do?
For my other class. I'm not sure why this error is happening.
Okay. All right. So, anything else you can think of for, questions for this?
Not really, honestly.
All right, so just to review what I've got in the email right now. Number one, the notice about Argo UML being down. Number two, in the assignment write-up, he said a player health, of course, must be persistent, hydrate in the save file in some way, your choice. Same with score. But if all the Zork engines need to implement this, doesn't that mean they need to be implemented in a particular way, i.e. not our choice, but a common process? Or am I reading too far into this? Like if we choose to implement the score file as the last thing in the save file, and we implement it by making blah, 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 player score, then no one else's engine can run unless they specifically implement the same system. But under overview, you say the standard features will be described in detail below. Your game engine must work exactly as described with .zork files in exactly the format given. This is so that every team member's engine works in part in the same way, and I can therefore reliably and efficiently test everybody's functionality. The next thing is one idea we've had for the supplemental feature part of the project is to make a dungeon maker option. Basically allow the user to build a dungeon file and load that into a compatible Zork++ engine. But the more we talk about, the more uncertain we are about whether it will meet the requirements of the assignment. So we wanted to ask you if this would be acceptable. Anything else you can think of that we need to ask him?
For transform, for transform, no, I lied. For teleport, if it's gonna teleport them to some other random room in the dungeon, I guess we'll need to implement a random number, but where is the set of rooms set with?
Okay. If the set of rooms is stored by a hash table, then how are we going to get a random room if we can only randomize numbers? I think. I don't know if there's a way to randomize.
I'm pretty sure you can randomize anything that can be stored. Because isn't there an array list randomize? I'll say there is. Java array list. Yeah, under the collections group, there's a collections.shuffle.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
that's one option. Another option we could do is just have a string list that would, and the method would randomly select one room name from that list. And then you call, you move the player to the room of the result.
Okay.
So, okay. So I'm going to go ahead and send the email off to Steven. I've got you. I've got Dre. Okay. Where the header he wants. Okay. Yeah, I do kind of need to send the to address, don't I? There we go.
Okay, good. It's not just me. Everyone else in my class is also having problems. with it. Oh, with IT.
Damn it, where's my glue? There it is. I really need to get a syringe applicator.
Save it has to rename it from one to the main list. Let you download. Honestly, oh, I see. Don't give me there. Oh. This version. 170. folder's not empty.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and stop recording.